Well, with all these great hunts you've been on and all these beautiful animals, are you into taxidermy? Do you get a lot of them mounted?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I get anything that's mature. I'll get or not mature, but anything that's something I'm real proud of. I'll get it taxidermied. So I've got. I wish I could show it on the camera, but I've got um, three, two replica bucks, one repair buck, and two or three caribou that I'm getting the antlers restained with this guy in Utah right now. And so that's just making it possible for me to mount those. The story with the caribou, one of them had just shed velvet, and so his antlers when they dried they just became bleach white, and I didn't really want them to look like that on the mount. So he has like a combination of like wood stain and different kinds of paints and stuff that he uses. And this guy's an expert. His name is McKay Sorensen, Trapperman Antlers. If anybody ever needs to get anything restained or repaired or replicated, but he's doing the repaint on that one, and then the other two caribou. I told him I'm really into European heads. I just like holding the physical head of an animal, and I think they look awesome on a wall. And so I told when I killed these two caribou originally, which were both really nice bulls. I killed them on the same hunt. They're both top 15 Pope and Young, which is like crazy, and that's something I'll never do again probably. Um, but I told the taxi or the outfitter, I told him, I said I want these European heads, and what he'd done is just gone and hung them in a tree. And so for the whole fall they were out there weathering, and they got bleach white as well. So he's restaining all those three caribou heads, and then he's doing a replica on two whitetail bucks that I still want the Europeans on, to where I can mount the replica set of antlers. And then I've got this one buck it's on my Instagram. It's the most recent, like kind of non-typical buck I killed. He had busted off like 25 inches of antler before I got to kill him. He had this huge, like I would guess 14, 15-inch dagger that came up right in the middle of his horns, and he broke that off. And I mean, who knows where it's at. And so he's recreating all that for me. And so I get super into taxidermy, and I'm really picky about it, but I work with some great taxidermists to get my stuff done, and I'm about to have some cool stuff in the works. So I'm really excited.
I was just curious with all that and everything. What's your favorite out of all that type of stuff to eat?
I would say I love uh, I would say my top 4 or 5 will be I love elk. I love axis deer is absolutely amazing. Um, I would say the bison that I killed was great. And then sheep of any kind of wild sheep, it can be really good if they weren't rutting. If they're in the rut, forget about it. They'll taste probably pretty bad. But with what they eat and the way that they live, they just have a really tender meat. So it's really quality. So those would be probably my top 4.
Huh. When I did was doing a lot of processing and stuff, the toughest animal I ever cut up was a nilgai. Oh my gosh, that was absolutely horrendous.
Which is weird because people say I thought I heard people say they're amazing table fare, but maybe they're a bit nasty.
I don't know. It came in a ice chest, and he was just having me cut it. And I'm gonna tell you what, that backstrap. I mean, it was good size, huge, but oh my gosh, it reminded me a lot of a horse. Yeah, and I
Insane.
remember seeing some of that up at OSU and stuff. And I'm gonna tell you what, that was a tough backstrap. Yeah.
I've heard you don't want to eat aoudad either. I've heard audads like that because they eat a lot of like sagebrush or a lot of those like sagebrush stems and stuff like that. And they yeah, I've heard they're super tough and nasty too. I haven't tried them. The one I killed, I gave it back for camp meat. But I've heard you don't want to really mess with an aoudad. But
Huh.
that's also on the subject of barbecue and stuff. That's also something I'm really wanting to get into is with some of the meat that I bring home. I don't consider myself much of a cook at all, but I really want to get into like getting good at like smoking meats, and I want to start, smoking my own meats, grilling all my own stuff, and I want to get like a pellet smoker. And so I might need to have you, give me a little crash course on,
That's the easiest thing you'll ever ask of me.
yeah, all righty, I love it.